cause I be bustin' the dope moves. But the problem stay the same. How you riding for the cash when you ain't riding in my lane? Shorty all about a paper, so your mixture look the same. In the game I play the lane like Eddie Kane, cause I be bustin' the dope moves.
All right, I got one question. How do you know God is real?
You said, why are you saying like it's real? Like at the end, like that's.
I said
well,
how?
I'm gonna answer seriously.
I mean, say
How do
how
I know God is real?
is real.
It's real. Whew. I'm watching these leaves fall right now. Damn, squirrel just jumped up, grabbed some berry off some high ass tree. Nigga, hold up.
Okay. Can I ask a question? Can I interject and ask the question?
Yes, sir.
So the evidence of those things proves God?
I was just making assumptions through my visual because I know I can't see everything in front of me. So I'm gonna say something's controlling the things that I can't see with the physical eye.
Even if you're correct,
that we're not privy to.
Even if you're correct, how do you know that that's God?
It's math. Like I don't know what the concept of God is. Is it like a nigga doing mathematic power? I don't really know what your concept of God is.
Well, I don't have a concept of God because I'm an atheist. But the reason I got to the point of becoming an atheist is because I examined multiple people's concept of God. And through all the different concepts that I examined, I could not find one that logically, looking at the physics of this universe or the laws of this universe, none of them logically make sense.
I still don't make sense to you, so it's just.
It don't make.
Discounting what you doing with it.
Okay, so what I'm asking you is, which ones make sense to you?
I mean, I can keep going on like there ain't no higher being and just be like a mongrel, and then eventually just like worship Satan or something.
So people who don't
do that too.
So people who don't believe in a higher being are mongrels?
No, I said walk around like mongrels. The like is the main thing. It's like you kind of aimless. Like, is you gonna do more? Is you gonna be morally right, or you just want to follow the bull and do as I will? Like,
let me get this right.
Morals is kind of fucked up.
So morals are determined by God?
Yeah, no, this is a human thing. Yeah, we should strive to be like the motherfucker face we can't see.
Yeah, but how do you know that the person whose face you can't see is the way you're describing them? Where did you get these concepts from? That morality came from God. That the one you can't see is somehow morally perfect. Where did you get those concepts from? Because to me, indirectly, it sounds like you believe in a particular God.
I ain't into that because I don't know. I know cultures that worship many gods. I know cultures that worship one. I know cultures that worship a fucking peacock.
So why do you believe? So why do you believe in any God? With all the information that you're saying you have, what information or knowledge do you have that led you to believe that something, I'm not even going to describe it for you. What led you to believe that God or gods are real, exist, and are to be taken literally and have anything to do with morality? Where's that coming from?
Because most people, they fear God, right?
So because people fear God, that means God is real?
But to fear something is to be envious of it, and you want to be like that.
But what does that have to do with establishing whether or not God is real?
Because you can't be blasphemous. Remember, Tupac was like blasphemy.
Yeah, but blasphemy is a term that goes to religion.
But it's still not good because you don't know. Like,
yeah, but I'm not saying I do. No. I want to get to the crux of my argument. The people who are making assumptions are the people who are saying that there's a God in their religion. See, you got it all backwards, and I really mean that sincerely. The problem
Yeah.
here is that you don't understand. Again, Paco, the people who are have religions, whether Christian or Zoroastrian and everything in between, all of them, Paco, fall under an issue. They're making a claim. They're all making a claim. They're all saying something is true, it's literal, and it's 100% based
But
in
man
fact.
ain't perfect, and man wrote them fucking books.
I'm
So
not
I
saying
don't.
that man is perfect, and I agree with you that man wrote them books. But the point that I'm making is that all these people are making a claim. The atheist position is the position of not accepting that claim. The atheist is not making a claim. He's not asserting anything. By
I
the,
mean, the Buddha wasn't making no claim. He just was
so
under
so
a
this is
fucking church.
so this is why you can be an atheist Buddhist. This is why you can be, because there is no in the laws that you have to follow to become a Buddhist. There's nothing about worshiping or deifying any gods.
Nah.
Okay, that's why
I
you
just got
are,
admiration for the bull Buddha. That's it.
and that's something that you share with all Buddhists.
Yeah.
So when we talk about theists, all theists accept that God is real. I asked you at the beginning of this, is God real? You said, yeah. How do you know? So again,
I
my
gave you
problem,
my explanation though with the mathematics.
yeah, but mathematics again, like you said, those books was written by man. Mathematics is man-made too.
Not necessarily, but I get what you're saying.
Mathematics
Not
is
really
man.
though.
It is man-made. It's something that man put together so that you can manipulate numbers.
Yeah, but you're talking about like the learning of what's going on though. Like what's going on been going on forever. You feel me?
Okay, so all it would take for you to understand it, if understandable, is observation. Now, how long has mankind observed whatever phenomenon it is that you're describing? So if he's observed it for 100 years, he might have some concept of it. If he's observed it for 1,000 years, he might have a much better concept of it.
All
But
right, let's say this. I get 100 Buddhists, you get 100 atheists, and we make like rules to the game, rules to like a new constitution or something.
yeah, but we don't need Buddhists to do
Right?
that.
Right?
But we don't need Buddhists to do
And
that.
who law you gonna want to live by? Them atheists that's doing what y'all want.
Well,
Not dirty like a slave master.
well, I'm gonna be the first. I'll be the
You go as the page master.
well. I'll be the first one.
I'll be the same chapter.
I'll be the first one to say. I'll be the first one to say all atheists don't agree. Like no, like all nothing don't agree. But that's besides the point. The actual point is from most of the atheists, or from at least the ones I subscribe to, the ones that I feel as though I learn from. Well, morality has been described as well-being.
I know atheists that's got well being. It's places
No,
that
no, no,
live in
no, 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 no,
anarchy.
no, no, no. But
That's cool.
every living organism has well-being. The only organisms in the only specific situation.
Everybody think they doing well and well
No,
being.
no, no,
It
no. But
depends on the eyes you looking at it from.
but well-being means what you want for yourself. And what I mean, by that is, who wants to get killed?
Atheists,
And that's your opinion.
they want to suck blood and
Yeah, but
crazy Alistair Crawley and do some dance. They never fuck with the Baphomet. So
but let me ask a question. If one atheist did do the things that you said that they did, and I don't know nothing about what you're talking about, I don't know specifically what you're referring to, but is that what I'm asking you, is that a reflection of all atheists?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say they're gonna go down that path regardless.
So,
I'm gonna have to say, but I do know moral places.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Is there any
cool.
Is there any Christians in your family?
I don't like Christians though, so that's biased from it.
No, but that's not my point. Is there any Christians in your family?
Yes.
Are they good people? Any of the Christians in your family? I'm just saying, are any of the Christians in your family good people?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. So, are there Christians outside of your family who are bad people?
Yes, of course.
So how can you hold atheists to a different standard?
Because if you out here on the block not giving a fuck, not giving praise to the Most High, you got your pistol and your crack in your pocket or your stash spot.
So now atheists are not only Satanists, they're blood drinkers,
criminals.
They're criminals. They're on the block with guns. So
and they want anarchy.
So let me ask you a question. Have you sold drugs or known of drug dealers?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Unfortunately.
So these people that when you sold drugs, most of the people that you sold drugs to, bought drugs from, and sold drugs with, were they Christian or atheists? Just the majority of them. The majority of them.
They were confused.
Confused about what?
Confused. Huh?
Confused about what?
Confused about religion. Like most cats on the block, they don't care about religion or nothing.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Funny one that praise God or Jesus or whatever.
So let me ask you this: of all those people who was on the block, how many of them were raised Christian and were raised atheists?
I don't think some was neither or, but
how many of them were raised with religion and how many weren't?
Probably most of them that I know was probably under the Buddha, Jesus, you know.
And most of them turned out to be good people?
Huh?
And did most of them turn out to be good people?
Yeah, there's good people on the block, bro.
No, I'm asking you in life. Did most of them turn out to be good people? Because my point is, if any of them turned out to be bad people, your logic is now flawed. Because you're holding atheists to the standard that what one atheist eats, all atheists shit. But in return,
when you're religious, you're going to hold people to standards.
Yeah, but why not hold religious people to the same standard?
Because they praise the Most High.
So because they praise the Most High, they get a pass, and they don't have to.
They do what they shall.
So because they praise the Most High, they get a pass, and what they do is not a reflection of them, but what one atheist do is a reflection of all atheists, according to you. Correct?
Just the most of them I know, like they just wild, and they just. I mean.
How many atheists do you know?
I'm listening to a lot of them, but
So the ones that you've been listening to, you know what they do in their spare time as far as selling drugs, being criminals, drinking blood, practicing satanic arts. You know that they do that in their spare time?
I don't know for sure, but they sure look like they do.
So you don't know that they do this in their spare time. Now, the atheists that you do know personally, do they do that in their spare time? Because I know of two that you know.
Do they do what?
The things you said. Do they practice Satanism, drink blood? Are they criminals? Do they sell drugs and stuff like that?
I mean, yes.
They do?
I don't know if they're drinking blood or nothing like that, but they probably like pissing on cats or something. Like they doing something.
So what is something? Now you're not being. So they're doing something bad, something evil, something satanic. What are you saying? Because what it sounds like is that you're insinuating things that are labeled demonic amongst atheists because they don't believe in the person who is the opposition of demons.
Well, the good Christian folk think y'all are possessed by the demons.
Yeah, but what about the bad Christian folk?
The bad Christian folk, they probably say the same thing.
They probably say, but they preach the same thing as the good Christian folk.
They do.
They were raised in the same teachings as the good Christian folk. So
I always think the higher ups in Christianity is corrupt and sick and all that stuff.
So is it safer to say that ethics and morality is kind of the eye of the beholder? It goes from a case-to-case basis, from person to person.
I mean, that's what I say. Yeah, that's what I was
But
trying
that's
to say
not
earlier,
what you're saying when it comes to atheists. You're saying that all atheists are
there's too many religious folks on this earth, so I'm just gonna go with the masses. You feel me?
Okay,
like
so
we don't tussle with atheists.
Yeah, but do you understand by definition that makes you a follower, correct?
My dad told me not to be a follower, but I think to be a leader, and I'm leading when I say that the majority of people on this earth have some form of religion.
That's not an obvious thing. You're leading someone to that. That's not obvious. That's not obvious. You're leading people to that information that most of the world.
I don't tell nobody to be religious. I tell them to do their own thing and
Oh, okay, I
take
mean,
precaution.
but how is your own thing something that religion showed you? Religion,
I'm not religious.
but religion showed you God. You took their ultimate higher power and you put him in your own personal created belief system.
My man, when I was in Catholic school, the only thing I knowledge was Mother Mary, bro.
My point is this, but today you're saying a concept that comes from religion.
And it's been 10 years since a nigga sold crack.
But now you saying that a concept that comes from religion, you put in your own personal belief, and you have what reason to
I
believe?
can't do that. I don't know.
You did that though.
I'm not no atheist, but I don't know.
Yeah,
the only
but
thing I know is what I can see, feel, hear, smell.
okay, so the
Yeah.
question would be, why take something from religion when atheism gives you a default position?
Because atheists are dirty bastards, bro.
That's your personal.
They are.
Is that your personal opinion or is that a fact?
They are. Some of them are intelligent, such as yourself. Some of them eat blood and prey on children, and some of them just read books.
But you have to understand something. It's something that you're not wrapping your mind around something that's very simple.
But there's many more Christian folks with different attitudes that range from turned up the slow mo. You feel me? They drive slow, homie. You feel me? So
I don't.
When the masses run down, they don't care. You feel me?
Yeah,
if you ain't wearing no cloak or no fucking cross, nigga, it's a sprizzy.
But don't you understand that if people were to persecute you and do some type of violent bodily harm to you because of your belief, those people are then wrong.
You won't be the atheist, Jesus Christ.
Now wait a second. To go even further, if these people are, like you kind of alluded to, Christians, then by default, all atheists are going to go to heaven when that day comes because they were killed by another group of people.
Yeah, but God has said y'all don't deal with him. So when he's
No.
you like thou shalt not absolutely nobody else but the boy, and then he come down.
Okay. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. This is why believing in God is not, like you yourself are saying you don't know, but you're sitting here telling all the people who are going to hear this what God is going to do. Now, I just want to say that, like he said previously, there are many books and religions that claim to tie themselves to God. One such book is the Bible or the Torah. And what does God say about a baby?
And what does Pharaoh Otten say?
And what does
that you go down into the fucking rivers of death, my dude, and where the alligator gonna weigh your shit, my name.
So it's like this. What did God say happens to a baby who's born during birth? You see, the baby gets to come with him, even though the baby didn't know God existed, did not accept God because the baby was an innocent. All innocents go to heaven. So if atheists, so if atheists are persecuted and murdered by Christians, according to him, they automatically get a ticket into any heaven if it is real.
The 40 virgins. Woof.
No, according to God, according to their God, that would be real. So I'm just trying to show you how nonsensical all this is. So we got a person here who doesn't believe that God ever talked to these people and that these books are written by man.
Self-conscious is very strong if you don't believe in the Most High.
But he's willing.
Self-talking.
But he's willing to take their concept, a concept that comes from religion, and say that it exists. So I want to show you the conditioning of religion. When you're conditioned to do something, to be something, to believe something as a child, then you can fall for this type of trick later on in life. So I've been sitting here explaining to him that being an atheist is a default position. And what I mean by default position,
that's not default.
And what I mean by default position is the question that is to be asked is, do you believe in God? So when somebody is to ask you that question, you can answer one of two ways. And either answer defines you in a default position. Before a person tells you
That's
what,
facts, but what if
so
if it went down to Chinatown?
so ladies and gentlemen, before a person tells
feel
you
me?
before a person tells you what God they believe in, they have already stated whether they're a theist or atheist by answering the simple question of, do you believe in God? So what he's sitting here trying to insinuate, that the people who are atheists, which just means without God or godless, they are saying the same thing that he's saying. They don't believe in any personal presentation of God that has been presented. He doesn't either, because he doesn't subscribe to any singular religion. So the point is, there are people out here who are taking religious concepts like God. They're taking religious terms like the Most High, and they're trying to warp their own reality of what God must be based off of their interpretation of nature and the world around them. I once did that too. The most powerful thing I could see is the sun. I worship the sun. Then when that wasn't good enough, because I seen that a lot of people came to that conclusion and made it a religion, the worship of the sun, because it is the most powerful thing they saw too. So they did create religions based around sun
Yeah,
worship.
that's why I was years ahead of it. Yeah.
So I left sun worship alone, and I did the same thing he's doing. I took the concept of God, which I learned about through religion, and I tried to say that melanin was God, because melanin was in almost every living creature that I could find. But then I did extensive work, and I found out that melanin is not in every living organism. It's in most living organisms, but it's not in every living organisms. Practically, there are almost no spiders that have melanin. So when you look at that, when you look at things like that, and yes, something could possibly evolve without melanin, but that would prove that melanin is not God. So science debunks science. The more information you get, the better educated guess you can make, because you cannot rule in an absolute in this situation, because there are factors in which you cannot you cannot explain. So when a person is telling you for a fact, and I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but when a person tells you that there is a God, or I know God exists, you want to know, how did they come up with that conclusion so you can get to the same spot. And the funny thing is, I found that nobody can tell you how they know God exists. What they can do is they can point to something that's in the physical world and give you a non-physical answer for it. That doesn't mean that it's God. That just means that they're saying it's God, because they themselves don't know either.
I know evil, bro.
Yeah, but evil is not believing in God. That's just the opposite to your pick. You pick one way, and you feel that the one way that you picked is the only way. That's on you. That's not
Nah, I
on.
don't feel that way.
You do feel that way, cuz
No.
you've proven that you feel that way because you believe God is real. So when I asked you, what God story have you ever heard to make you believe that, and you can't give a credible answer or even a logical answer, that shows in spades that you're searching for the truth too. But while you're searching for the truth, you're choosing to sit on one side of the fence instead of straddle the fence. You don't know which side is the right side to be on. But instead of straddling the fence, you're sitting on one side or standing on one side and hoping you're right.
Nah, I'm not.
You are.
I'm just on the right side.
You don't know that you're on the right side. Especially for a person who don't subscribe to any one religion. I don't understand how in the world you can be on the side of yes, God exists, and then say don't nobody know. Well, if you believe it, you should know why you believe it.
I do. I told you all the reasons. I don't know why you don't.
You never gave me a credible reason. Nature is not evidence of God. Nature is evidence of nature.
About the mathematics behind that.
Behind nature, you don't know them. You don't even accept the best scientific theories. So you damn sure can't possibly know them. So the people who actually have studied these mathematics, as you called them, behind nature, know what they know, or believe with a high degree of confidence that they know what they know. Scientific theory is only a theory because something in science says yes. There could be other reasons why something happens other than the scientific theory that has been given. Nobody's excluding that possibility. But at the same time, to ignore the scientific theory or what the data says yes to and come up with your own reasons for it. The reason why people can't fuck with science that fuck with God is because they don't go hand in hand. Science kind of debunks God.
Man, we lost a long time ago, bro.
I mean, that's your opinion. Again, I'm stuck firm where I'm at. I'm an atheist for a reason. I'm an atheist. I'm an atheist because there is no good reason for God. There is no good evidence. Excuse me. I ain't say reason. I said reason, but that was a mistake. There is no good evidence. If somebody provides evidence, or if God himself comes to this earth, or herself or itself comes to this earth and says X, Y, Z, then I can believe it. But as of right now, with the current gods that have been presented that I know about, I have not seen anything realistic, not even remotely.
But the opposite is the same. Like,
it's not the same because the opposite. It's not. No, the opposite. The opposite is not the same because the opposite is not a claim. Religion has made a claim. Multiple religions have made the same claim that God exists. So when you ask a person and you don't know which side of the fence they're on yet, which side of the fence do they stand on? When they tell you which side they stand on, you don't get to judge them and put them in a box or a category because
I can't judge nobody, no Christians, no nothing.
No, and that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the burden of proof is on the person making the claim. It's always the state versus, because the state is claiming and says that they have evidence that this person did X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. The state has evidence.
What happened to it?
And what happens when the state don't have evidence? When the state's evidence does not work?
The big dude upstairs, bro.
I don't believe in it. I've never heard a good case for it. I've never heard, and that's beside. Like, I don't know why you want me to believe in something that I've never heard a good argument for. That's like somebody saying, "Yo, the way McDonald's tastes, you gonna tell me McDonald's ain't good for you?" Now, not only have I never heard an argument that McDonald's is good for you, I've actually heard arguments that it's bad for you. So when I look at God, the concept of God, where did I hear about it from, and where does it say it comes from? It says it comes from religion. What do I know about religion? Religion is a bunch of very old books that don't necessarily have to do with each other, but can have something to do with each other. And these books all make a claim that a God or gods exist, that they are the ones who shape the laws and the physics of these worlds, of this world and other worlds, that they are the ones who...
That's a war tool that you keep talking about.
No. And I agree with you. So now when we personalize it between me and you throwing shade on atheists, which I consider myself, and you saying that you believe in God. My question that I asked you specifically, not all religious people, why do you believe in God if you don't follow religion? This is a concept you got from religion. You're going to take their concept, say, yeah, I believe in the Most High, but not tell nobody how you got to that conclusion.
What you mean? Like, I told you I got to that conclusion.
No, you didn't. You just start saying, I see a squirrel. And I'm like, all right, that's nature. Nature describes nature. Nature explains nature. Nature defines nature. But how do you look at nature and get a concept that comes from religion as being real? Because nature exists, how did you get to that concept? That concept does not say, look at nature. That proves that I'm here. It don't even say that. So why in the...
The only thing I got to do is go to science class for like a couple of days or a week.
But science don't. But science class, you'll never hear the word God in science class unless it's a joke. Science tells you what.
Theory is you trying to explain something for yourself.
No, it's not.
Well, what is this?
No, it's not. A scientific theory is only a scientific theory because you can demonstrate it. A scientific theory, something that has been found somewhere, something that has been dug up somewhere, like dinosaurs, right? You know how some people believe in dinosaurs and some people don't?
I don't. Yeah, it's not like that.
My
But
point,
it was stuff out here.
my point to you is this: you don't believe in the word semantics of it. You want to play games with it and call it something else. You would rather them use a word that you're comfortable with. That's irrelevant. The fact that there was an error.
Hell yeah.
No, that's
I
it.
ain't comfortable with anything.
But the fact that there were reptiles who were the dominant creatures on this earth at one time, therefore they grew large because they didn't.
Birds. Stop.
No, birds evolved from some dinosaurs. All dinosaurs didn't evolve into birds. Some died out. So it's not a plural thing. It's a singular thing. Some of the dinosaurs evolved.
Birds.
Nah, it's not a most thing. It's just some did and some didn't. There are 3 different periods. 2 periods you have where most of the organisms from those 2 periods have completely gone from the face of the earth. The last period is where you get most of the organisms that live today. So
They were squawking and drinking muscle milk, nigga.
but some of those organisms was related to the organisms from the prior 2 periods, and some wasn't. Some were direct adaptations of new creatures. And that's what I'm explaining to you. When you find transitional animals who show that they're related to 2 different kinds of animals, but that are closely related, like whatever is related to elephants and rhinos. I don't even know what it is, but whatever it is, that's a transitional thing. It all 3 of them share an archaic ancestor. Even though rhinos and elephants more than likely don't come from the creature that I'm talking about. So
we know rappers were like big chickens, and they were trying to peck at niggas. We know this. They're as big as my knee. We know this.
I mean, but there was different size raptors. There was different size raptors. To my knowledge, the tallest rappers got around 6 feet, 7 feet, something like that.
To my knowledge, that tallest rapper at my kneecap.
I mean, but that's what you say. I don't believe that when I read it, that's what it said.
In Utah. What? In Utah, they was husky.
There was raptors all over. You could be correct. The Utah raptor might have been the biggest raptor. But again, America has a long history of animals becoming alpha predators and not having any known predators. This is why
the raptors, how they came out here stopping them. Like,
yeah, but what I'm saying is, don't you have multiple different types of raptors in the Americas? So let me ask you that. Dinosaurs, the raptors that you saying that you know for a fact was in the Americas, that don't disprove God or any religious God?
I mean, this religious God thing is kind of weird.
Nah, I'm going to tell you why what's even weirder. To take a concept that you got from religion, use that concept, but throw the religions to the side. See, you're trying to outsmart the conversation. You're trying to outsmart anybody who's trying to find out what it is that you truly believe. You're giving a disingenuous conversation.
I told you I believe in God.
But you can't tell.
Like
you can't.
But you. He routed. Like,
but you can't help.
He might be a selling God. We don't know what the hell
you
going
can't
on.
help any of these people get to the same conclusion as you. You say you're a leader. You say that you teach. But you're not teaching people the tools that they need, the information and knowledge that is required to get to the current position that you hold.
I'm out here speaking in parables for the dumb.
But you're not. You're not helping. You're not helping these people be enlightened because you call yourself a leader and a teacher. Well, lead
I'm
and
teaching
teach.
you not to be atheist, ain't I?
No, but you're not telling me why you're theist. That would be the best piece of proof or evidence.
You can't be like. That's like a nigga with all the belts, though. Like, that's the nigga with all the belts. Like,
who says
he got
that?
like 5, 6 rings, nigga, like Jordan. Like,
who says that? So again,
religious folks.
So again, let me point something out to y'all. Let me point just a little concept that I just caught with what he just said. Right? He said the religious folks is all the people with all the belts. Now, what I would rather use as a metaphor is that the religious people, they are the structure, they are the government, they are the oppressor. Atheists are the revolution. Atheists are the revolt. Atheists are the people who had the heart to stand up and say, no, we're not with that. Until you can provide a sound.
Brushing against the grain.
I mean,
no,
because we're not going to give you blind faith. We're not going to give you, just grant you blind faith like your religions ask us to do. We refuse to do that. You have to give us a good reason. If you give us a good reason, we're logical people. We're trying our best to use critical thinking. That's how we got to where we're at not believing, because you did not provide a credible story. What you did was use stories that do not stick to the laws of physics of the universe or even of this planet that we know of. Creatures are not having virgin births, but God chose to have a virgin birth with a man, with mankind at least. That's what I'm saying. You got 1,000 theories. You say things were true that weren't true. Then you go the extra mile and say that God told you to do X, Y, Z. And this is how I know I'm vindicated. Ladies and gentlemen, he don't subscribe to any religion either. He agrees that the books are bad. He agrees that the teaching is bad. He agrees that the shit is not morally correct, even though it claims to be. All it is a lie. So if he agrees,
I'm teaching Brock about the armed fist of the masses.
so if he agrees,
he
so if he agrees with that, ladies and gentlemen, that this stuff is all bullshit, child's play mythology, right? The question would be, why would he take their concept of a divine creator who created everything and apply it to his own belief? Why would a person do that? So basically what he wants me to do is give blind faith and credence to God, because a lot of people believe in it and he's in a lot of different stories. But at the same time, we both agree that the stories are not good evidence for a God. So now what he's done is took their concept and said the concept is true, but the stories behind it are not true. What I've done is I've said I don't believe in the stories, therefore I don't believe in the concept. Because the concept I only heard of from the stories. And I went looking for different stories to try to find either one.
Me too. I've been to that.
And I agree that you did. And you went through.
And I know the steps of learning, and I know that I've been acting like I was an atheist for a day or two myself. So
never heard that, yo.
I get it.
I never heard that, yo.
I learned that at rapid speed, bro. You might not hear a lot of shit that I learned.
This is what I'm telling y'all. So that means he went backwards. Because he can't tell y'all.
I don't go backwards.
Listen, y'all, he had to go backwards because the only way. Think about what we just had brought up in this conversation. Step one, he went through multiple religions trying to find what.
I get into the mind frame of what I'm doing.
Did you or did you not historically in as a scholar look up probably, I'm just going to throw a number out there, at least 10 different religions, probably more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you looked up 10 different religions. Now, I just want to remind everybody, the concept of God comes from religion. He looked up 10 different or more religions, 10 or more different religions.
I look at a lot of African. I look at more than 10 African Jones in alone, but go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. All right, more than 10. He done looked at 10 African religions alone. We know he know about Christianity, Islam, Judaism, or Judaism, however you want to pronounce it. I told him about Zoroastrianism. I told him about Zoroastrianism. We know he know about Hammurabi and their religion. I would bet my life, because Mesopotamia is such a big conversation in the conversation of Egypt, that he knows that the Sumerians' religion was completely different from what the Babylonians, Akkadians, and Assyrians believed. He knows that the Canaanites and the people who would later be called Israelites.
Different culture and the same.
Okay, so but what I'm saying is, we know that now he, by his own admittance, that he's looked up and looked into and done some level, maybe not extensive, but some level of work of looking at the history of these religions. So now he's looked at the history of these religions. Now, don't forget throughout this conversation, the concept of God comes from religion. He's now tossed every one of those religions to the side, but taken their concept and is sitting on the phone with me saying that their concept is real. Their stories are wrong. And I'm the worst type of person for not accepting that the concept is real.
Like I said, it's not necessarily me. But the masses is going pitchfork in the
yeah, but this is a conversation between two people. The masses are not here. We're asking you, and you're giving us these textbook answers, these disingenuous answers that you think are right.
Disingenuous.
They are disingenuous.
Towards Most High. High, and
They
you
are.
lean away from me.
Yeah, but no, he didn't say he
That's
leaned
lean
towards
back.
Most High, y'all, because the first question to be asked before we even get to what sect you claim or what strip you claim, the first question to ask
That's
is,
right.
do you bang? That's the first question. The first question is not what sect you claim. It's do you bang? If you walk up to me
Yeah.
and ask me what sect I claim, you're making an assumption that I bang. So the first question is, do you bang? Do you gang bang? And the people who say yes are
For
theists.
Buddha, you're fucking right.
See, now he backing off of it. And he keep trying to use Buddha as a shield, but we talking about God, and we're Buddhists, and with Buddhists, God don't exist. So again,
Yeah, he's
we
not
know
that
that
true.
Buddhism didn't lead him to God, because Buddhism doesn't make God a requirement to be a Buddhist. But something else led him to God. He did say that he was raised and went to Catholic school. So again, this is a concept that was fed to him as a child before he even was able to ingest what it meant. And now it's
I
so
knew what it meant by 6. I was just looking at grown people, like I told you, that was tripping.
even furthermore to the point, a concept ingested as a child and shown, not just told, but shown. They say if a mother allows a man to beat her in front of the child, that young lady has a 8 out of 10 chance of letting a man beat her. So if your parents are showing, if your family, if the Catholic school, if the church that you go to are showing you one way and telling you that it's right, and we're not ruling out the possibility that they are right. We're not ruling in an absolute in this particular scenario. But the thing to remember is this: what good reason do you have to believe it's true if you're not going to ingest whatever specific book that the religion comes from? If you're not going to, and since the people who taught it to you do subscribe to a specific religion, you're writing off their beliefs too. You're writing off their beliefs
How?
because you don't agree with them.
They believe,
They are
only
religious.
atheists act like
They
that.
are religious.
Only
No. They are religious
That's it.
people. They are religious people, and he don't subscribe to a religion. So now, what he does share.
why you looking to the scientists that be like, most of it be like, yeah, there's something.
Yeah, but
It's something, brother. And that's what made me believe in God.
But now we got
So-
two different issues, ladies and gentlemen. Just because you're a scientist by trade and you have a God belief making you a theist, that
Just
doesn't.
like the atheists you listen to.
So again, but the atheists are not claiming that they're right because they're scientists. They're claiming that they're right because the evidence that has been put forth is bullshit.
And then the atheists, they like shoot up schools and all the weirdo stuff.
So,
man.
ladies and gentlemen,
Why they gotta be that
ladies
way,
and
man?
gentlemen, how many people have shot up a church, lynched a family, raped a woman, enslaved human beings, and said they were doing God's work? Because remember, y'all, he's not attaching himself to any religious group. He's just saying he believes in God. So I bet if we were to use any type of search engine on the internet, we could find more people who have committed atrocities under the guise of God than under the guise of atheism.
And Hitler, wasn't he an atheist? He might have, he was Catholic.
Okay. No, at least we got that straight. Yeah, he was him, Joseph Stalin, they were both God lovers. They were doing God's work
That's
according to them. Just like the people
Yeah,
of the Bible.
I had to go into my, he was a Christian, a fake Christian,
So-
but nonetheless.
So my point is, so now y'all, the Christians that are bad are fake.
How they fake? Damn, that came out of your mouth? That's sick.
Nah, so why was he a fake Christian?
Huh?
Why was he a fake Christian?
The Fuhrer, whatever the hell his name is,
Adolf Hitler.
Nazi guy. It might be that guy.
Okay.
And he was a Christian. That's what he said. That's what he was
Okay.
banging. He was
So-
banging his shit.
I want to show y'all another concept in the black community that is it's a flawed way of ideology of thinking. You cannot think because a person is bad, morally, their ethics are bad, they're a bad person, that they are a fool or that they are stupid.
I know you're not defending people who putting people in gas
I'm not defending
Yeah, I was-
anybody who's ever committed an atrocity. I'm not defending them for an atrocity. What I am
don't
saying,
think they bad as you were saying,
what I'm saying to people is this: there are many people who have committed atrocities in the history of humankind. What I want you to remember is all of them were not stupid. Is the one thing I'll give you an example. I'll give a perfect example. When people say Charles Darwin is a racist, That is factual. Charles Darwin is a racist. That is 100% factual. But you must not forget that he's also.
So why are you banging his head?
Listen, y'all. I want to show y'all something. And then I'll put it on him and show you how he's doing the same thing, but holding me to a different standard. I'll show you everything I speak on. Charles Darwin was still a scientist. That doesn't mean that because he was a racist, that every piece of science work he's ever contributed or ever wrote about was incorrect. Those two things do not have anything to do with each other. Now I'm going to show y'all how he's doing the same thing. The same thing he's doing to me, he's excluding himself of, right? He believes in God. So do religious people. They are a part of a specific religion. He's not part of any specific religion. So are they allowed to say he's a blood drinker and he's
They will.
It doesn't matter if some of them will. The thing is to be better than people who do things immorally. So when people put titles on people that you couldn't find an actual logical way of putting it on a whole group of people, anybody who does that has a personal bias against that group of people or that definition of people. So if a Christian calls up to any of the atheist shows that are on YouTube and they say, I hate gay people, my first question is, okay, what did gay people do to you? They're against God. Now, I'm going to tell you why I have a problem with this. I'm going to tell you why because they haven't done anything to me. So if there are people out here, I'll make the point. Cops, judges, officials, legislators, politicians who are white people, do I then get to claim all white people are bad? If there are black people who do the same exact thing as what I just said. So again, I'll show it to you again because he didn't see it the first time. So if there are black politicians, black police officers, black judges, black legislators, does that mean I get to say all black people are bad people because of the black people that do that stuff?
I'm a rebel, so I'm against all of it. So go ahead.
Yeah, but you're not categorizing people because of it when they're the same skin color as you. Now I'm showing you an unfair argument, a straw man. When it's black people who do fucked up things, that don't mean that all of us are fucked up. But if one atheist does something fucked up, all atheists are fucked up. If one white person does something fucked up, all white people are fucked up.
I don't think like that, but I know the path for atheism where it leads.
But how do you know the path? Have you ever been an atheist? Yeah, but atheism don't lead to Buddha. Buddhism has nothing to do with God.
It led me to a dark road that I just turned back.
But Paco, atheism is a position defined by the belief of God. If there is no God in Buddhism, how can atheism and Buddhism be correlated in the sense of a God belief?
Buddha, that's fake.
What's fake?
Ain't no atheist Buddha. Fuck that.
Yes, you admitted yourself on a previous phone call that I wasn't able to record that there is a such thing as atheist Buddhists.
I did say that, but now I'm changing my mind because...
How can you change your mind when you know it's a fact that they exist? So now you're telling these people they are... Okay, so let me ask you a question. If you follow Buddhism and don't believe in God, are you an atheist Buddhist? If you follow Buddhism, I don't know what the laws are. I don't know what.
Eating babies and shit.
But wait. Again, now you're casting your opinion on all atheists again. All atheists eat babies.
I mean, what they doing, dog? Like, what they doing, dog?
So I can name 3 atheists that I know for a fact have never eaten another human being.
Buddha was that shit. Buddha was under the tree.
Yeah, but Buddha is not the standard for what humankind should be.
That's what a Buddha is. If you ain't thriving, dog, you striving, bro. You ain't striving, bro.
Yeah, but what are we talking about? Are we talking about morals or enlightenment?
Sometimes it coexists. You feel me? Like, sometimes it coexists. So I ain't with it with them atheists, man.
Do you have to be enlightened to have morals?
I mean, they claim Aleister Crowley was enlightened. I don't want no parts of that nigga.
Why is Aleister Crowley the poster boy for atheism?
Because he's an atheist and he's a Satanist.
So one atheist. Okay, but you said that he's a Satanist too. So,
I mean, I don't know for sure,
but what I'm saying is you're using Aleister Crowley as your example for why all atheists are bad. Does Aleister Crowley have anything to do with all atheists? Are all atheists Satanists?
I seen Jay-Z with a do it down with church, so I don't know.
Are all atheists Satanists?
That's tough. Nah, I'm just gonna say no.
Okay,
but,
so how can Aleister Crowley, who's an atheist and a Satanist, be the definition of all atheists? If by your own admission, all atheists are not Satanists. So you're admitting that atheists have a difference in a belief than Aleister Crowley.
Some in their mom's basement acting like the atheists until I gotta come drop some Buddhist knowledge on these niggas.
But we know people who not in their mom's basement who are atheists. I can show you a 10, 11-year-old.
I know, but I'm saying so a lot of them is like they ain't coming out with no I want to suck your blood type shit. Nigga,
yeah, but
they vampire from Brooklyn.
But are there Christians out here who are addicted to drugs? Are there Christians out here who rape people? Are there Christians out here who commit murder? Are there religious people in general who commit murder? Are there people who commit?
For sure, sir.
Oh, okay, so the question is, how come all Christians are not now bad people the same way all atheists are bad people in your mind?
But you talk about an Antifa argument, instead y'all blow up like a group of people, like, or do something to a group of people because y'all sick in the head. That don't negate nothing that the other people do neither.
How we sick in the head because
how
we sick in the head because we don't believe in the concept that you got from religion?
Because if y'all get together, man.
Yeah, but we can still all get together and be productive without believing in God. God is not a requirement for people getting together, nor is God a requirement for people being productive.
Why the nigga on your left looking at your neck ready to bite? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, but ain't that something that you think religion has played a part in? That the God concept has played a part in? Remember, God, even though he created everybody according to certain books, he had chosen people according to certain books. Why is God choosing amongst mankind if he's the creator of all mankind? Why are some people better than other people? And why did God tell some people they were better than other people? Why, if murder is morally wrong, did God tell people to murder?
But why God ain't saying atheism? Like, what?
Atheism.
Bad,
well, atheism. I think I'm starting to get where he's confused, and this is my interjection. My interjection is this: what I believe, in my opinion, is that because Satan is the opposition of God in the story, that because in real life, when you ask people literally, do they believe in God, the opposition of the answer to yes, they are now in his mind connected to Satan. Now, if that is true, if I'm correct with my thought, with what I believe, my logic of what his flawed thinking is, then that would mean that he is taking the Bible literally. That's the book that he's subscribing to.
Falling into this atheist trap and then start learning about atheism.
But it's not a trap. It's an answer. But it's not a trap. It's an answer to a simple question. It's not a trap. It's an answer to a simple question. The question is simply, do you believe in God? Not what sect you claim, not which God. Before we can get to any of that, the first question needs to be, do you believe? Now, I am amongst a group of people who do not believe. And I will give you my personal reason why I don't believe. Because I don't believe that a good case for any God has ever been made. So if I don't believe that anybody's ever made a good case for any particular God, I'm not going to believe in a concept till either somebody makes a good case, has physical evidence. But mathematics is not a good case for God. It's a good case for... It's not. It's a good case for human intellect. It's a good case that some. Mathematics is garbage. But what mathematics are you referring to?
The universal mathematics.
Okay, now again, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna call that the laws or physics of the universe. We're not going to define that as mathematics, but I'm going to define that, at least in my point, as the laws of the universe.
Hey, that's what I said first. That's how I started off.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, there are laws to the universe.
All right, let's go, atheist.
There are physical laws that the universe is obviously bound
Let's
by.
go.
The universe is obviously bound by. So now I'm going to make two statements back to back, short statements. The first statement is the reason we know the universe is bound by these laws is because we can demonstrate those boundaries. That's first and foremost. That's the first thing we must, that's the first thing we must understand. We see the sun, therefore we know it exists. Okay? So every boundary that we're claiming throughout scientific theory, that we are claiming, is one of multiple of multiple reasons why something happens. The second statement is this. Yes, there's laws, physics to the universe. How do you know they're God?
Well, you need to convert, bro. Now we're trying to bring you back to Christianity. You want to drink the blood and the body of the Jesus Christ.
So I'll ask you again. He started talking about Christianity, but he said he not part of no religion. The question is this.
You got to come back, bro.
The question is this. The question is this. The same thing as nature. Nature proves nature. The laws of the universe prove the laws of the universe. How do you get to assign those laws to God? How do you know that? Because there is laws, those laws are made and kept in play by God. How do you know that? Are you comparing the universe to a prison or to a street where the police work? Because now you're saying somebody is keeping the order. How do you know that? How do you know that somebody set the order?
All right, boom. Me and you still talking on this phone. That means the person on top ain't fucking fucked up. The people that's naturally at the top ain't fucked up.
Okay, so he's a product of his parents. I'm a product of my parents, who are a product of their parents, and so on and so forth. Now, the question is this: us being here on Earth, us being here on technology that we both know is man-made.
That's what God's supposed to do.
Again, y'all, how do we know that's God? See,
I ain't said was God, but in order to be at the
so, but listen, listen, y'all. The original question, his original answer was because of the laws of the universe. So we acknowledge that there is laws in the universe. Now we
follow them principles.
Now we asking him, how do he know that those laws were set by God? How is that common knowledge? How did he get to that conclusion? Remember, he's a teacher and he's a leader. He's trying to lead y'all to the truth. He's trying to teach y'all what's real.
That's right.
So again, let's have him answer this question for y'all. How does he know that those laws are kept in order by God, or were started by God, or set by God, however you want to word it? How does he know that these laws that we can see come from a being that we cannot? That's the equivalent of saying presents come from Santa Claus. Because the presents are there in the morning. You never see Santa Claus. You never see jolly old Saint Nick.
Yeah, that's where it started my life. Mom just said no.
And again, y'all, the concept is only a concept because it was taught to other people. This was not a concept that was demonstrated in real life. Though the presence was there, that does not prove the existence of a Santa Claus.
That don't prove the existence of none of that shit.
So just because the laws of physics are there, that's something that can be proven. That's something that is physical, that we can prove in reality. How can we now say that those laws come from something we cannot show in reality, something we cannot prove in reality? Because, go ahead.
A bush and a tree grow a certain way, as well as a human, cow, whatever, a lizard,
but we must understand that statement is false on multiple levels, because different trees grow different ways. So now
different spiders make different spider webs.
The point is, if you don't know the answer why that happens, again, he's doing the same thing. He's assigning God to the unknown. That's what he's doing. Anything unknown in his mind must be God.
So what else is it in your opinion?
But I don't have to have an opinion if I don't have any evidence of how it works. That's the difference. You're not asking me how a 747 engine works. even though somebody knows, I don't. So when you're having this conversation with any specific,
praise that man like he got Atheist.
so no, you don't, because he's smart relative to airplanes. So how do we want somebody to be smart relative to the creation of the universe? What we can assert is that thinking it's a God, a concept that comes from religion, would be the most nonsensical, or most unsmart thing you could do, because you're
people
guessing.
got tired of the statues of their family.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
God,
no, they
right?
didn't. What happened was what he said happened earlier. People wanted to use a tool, a mind spell.
Nah, I probably was too many like statues of they folks and shrines of they folks. And
but listen, there was different people in
up.
different tribes everywhere. The people in power pushed religion. Why do you think that is? Do you understand how much money?
As far as humans go, I got love for the ancestors, bro. They got me here.
Yeah, but just because the ancestors got you here don't mean that you have to believe everything the ancestors believe. I can give y'all evidence of it. He doesn't.
No, I seen my old heads in there worshiping Jesus in the hospitals, man.
And that's the point.
When I was 6 years old, and that shit.
But that's the point, y'all. He
ain't cool.
He ain't worshiping Jesus. He refused to do that, right? But he takes a concept that comes from religion, and he says that concept is real because of nature, because of the laws of physics, because there's a squirrel on a tree, because branches grow a certain way. He's saying that the unknown proves God. How can what you don't know prove God? How can what you, where we're at with it? He's saying that what he doesn't know proves God. How can what you don't know prove anything?
So where y'all at with it?
Where atheists are at with it is this.
The same question.
Okay, the same question is this. Brock, do you know if God is real? Do you know if God is real or fake? No. Brock, do you believe in God? No. That's where that's where we're at with it. So you can ask me. God. You can ask me both of those questions. You can ask me, do I know if God is real or fake? And there are religious people who would tell you that they don't know. Well, if you don't know, why do you believe? So now you're saying you believe in something unknown. Well, that's what faith says it is.